o'clock because that's the first day of the week and work week. And I feel that this was a good time to reach people over the weekend that's got a little bit of time to spend with me on my channel. So thank you so much for coming. Um, I was a little 2 minutes late today because I have got a problem, you guys. And the problem is I need a, there's that better? Yeah, that's better. I need a dental implant on the side of my mouth. And so I've been exploring different options, affordable options. And so the one option that I did do, I think I mentioned before, was creating a tooth through this little microplastics, and it's been working. It's been filling in the gap. The problem is because when I'm filming, you can see there's like a hole back there. So I have this saying, wherever there's a problem, there's a solution waiting to happen. I truly believe that. If there's a problem, there's a solution waiting to happen. You have to tap in to the solution. And so anyway, but my topic today is going to be, I always pray before I come on. I always ask that I may go deliver something that will bless you. And so this morning I was just doing a little research on my LinkedIn. I have a LinkedIn channel. And so I was on LinkedIn this morning, and what came to my mind this morning after listening to a very successful gentleman named Don Davis, he said something that resonated with what I wanted to talk with you about today. He says, change your perspective and change your life. Yeah, change your perspective, change your life. So it's really critical how we see things. Oh, thank you for the hearts. It's really critical how we see things, because we see things through a lens that is largely created by our environment, correct? So if you grew up in a household where everything was, say, lovely. I know people that did that. I know people who grew up in very stable households and had very great outcomes in life. That wasn't me, but that's their perspective. And I think that you see these people often at higher levels on, say, for instance, the food chain. Yes, because they were able to have a really good, solid foundation. But then there's me, and maybe you, that grew up in not such ideal circumstances. So that's your perspective. So so everyone comes from a different perspective, and we all have these phases in life, from birth to death, right? And in between all of that, our perspective guides us. Our perspective is what guides us. And if our perspective has been skewed because of the challenges of our childhood, we have to figure out how to make that not be a hindrance or a liability, right? And so that's what I think your midlife is about. Your childhood, you largely have no control. And sadly, there are children that are only getting what I call 3 hots and a cot. That means they're just planted in a house. They're pretty much raised themselves, and mom's working all the time, dad's working all the time. So they're basically being trained by our school system, maybe some peers. Well, yes, very much some peers, and the environment that they're in most of the time, which is school, right? I mean, in terms of, school or doing school related activities up to a point, but then you begin to decide after college. After high school, which direction do I take? Do I go to college? Do I get married? Do I find a job and stay on it? Do I get a skill? It all comes from your perspective, though. Let me give you an example. When I was growing up, my mother had a best friend, and she was a secretary in an office, and my mom thought that was the coolest job ever. And so she said, Stacy, maybe you should pursue being a secretary. And I thought, I'm a little different. I don't think I'm going to make being a secretary my career, because I just don't think that's my bent. I don't think that's my where I want to go, it just didn't seem exciting enough. And that could have been because I grew up in so much chaos that having a simple job that is very rewarding for your pay and all of that stuff, I just didn't, I don't know. I just maybe didn't have enough stability to go into a job that was that stable. So I ended up, however, deciding to go to college. I did make that decision, and so like I'm saying, and college broadened my horizons, broadened my perspective. It just did so much for me, and so therefore I'm saying to you all, I think that that's when you end up. I mean, that's what your influence is. But you come into your midlife, and now you're mature, more mature. You have a lot more tools in your toolbox, and hopefully you've had some therapy, some counseling, and so now you can look at life through a different lens. And that's what this gentleman was saying, Mr. Davis. Change your. I don't want to be pointing at you. I'm sorry. Change your perspective. Change your life. So let's see who's saying hi to me. Oh yes, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ is very much alive, and if he were with us today, he would be out ministering, I guess, because yesterday would have been his Sabbath. Oh, thank you, Tisa. Yeah, let me just say, oh, Celia, hi. Oh, Quasi. I look like your brother. What nationality are you? What are you? I look like your grandma. Can I just say this really quickly because I don't want to get off track because we only have. Oh, thank you, Thomas. We don't have a lot of time, so therefore, we don't have a lot of time because I only do 30 minutes on Sunday morning because I don't really realize that I don't even think I have that much to talk about. And I have no guests or anything, so it's just me. And so therefore, I'm doing my best to bring you guys something that I think will make a difference in your midlife. But anyway, but what do you think I am? It's really funny. I'm black. I'm African American, and it's really been. It's really been a challenge because that's my perspective. Let's go there. My perspective through life has been through a black female. Get that? A black female. Nothing about me screams that I'm a black female until you make me mad. We do have a way of, hey, it's cute. But anyway, so it's really curious to understand what you guys actually think I am. So, and when I went out to LA, they told me I'm ethnically ambiguous, whatever that means. But anyway, let's go back to perspective because we don't have a lot of time. So how do you change your perspective? And if you have something to help us with that, please leave a comment so that others can learn from you as well. All of us can be teachers in that regard. So anyway, let me tell you one of the things I learned. My mom, June, God bless her, she always said, I was like, I'm bored, I'm bored, I'm bored. She was like, well, because you're boring. What? I'm boring, Mom. Yes, because guess what? My perspective was limited. My perspective was ghetto, meaning I was with a homogenous group of people in the inner city in poverty. So that was my perspective. So my mom said to me, read books. Learn to love to read. She had an 8th grade education, but she read everything she could lay her hands on. So she was definitely a reader, right? She was definitely a reader. And so that taught me how to read. And she always said people who have broader perspectives that will talk about places, things, what did she say? Places, things, and not people. Because, people are fascinating, and we're fascinated with the gossip channels. I'm guilty. However, to be a very interesting person, you can talk about things that are exciting. Traveling, books on traveling. Now we've got all of this technology where you can put on these glasses and actually be somewhere that you've never thought you could be, right? It's really amazing. But that was one of the things my mom taught me about changing my perspective is through reading. So all you midlifers out there, like I talked about a couple of lives ago, is why are you on this planet? What is your purpose, and what do you intend to do with your life? So that's back to this. Your midlife is that opportunity. Your childhood is behind you. Your education or whatever you decided to do is behind you, and you're now full blown in your career because you're in your 30s, right? Because midlife in America I guess by American statistics, because of our longevity, is from 35 to 65. That's one statistic I read. We're going to stick with that. So therefore, reading, you know what? Oh, let me tell you this. Because I was in law school, and then from law school to marriage to babies, I really had a very narrow perspective, and it was doing what I had to do to keep juggling all those balls. But when I finished, what I would read to my kids all the time, so books were still part of my life. But when I finally retired my practice in 2010, and I was in LA, I finally got to read books on African American history, and so therefore that has led me. I think I told you this before, but I'll tell you again. To this book, The Life of the Life of a Slave Girl. Incident is the Life of a Slave Girl. I have a script on this book, and I'm trying to get it to the movie screen for you. But I got to learn Black history. I didn't learn it in school. I was an inner city kid. I was in Catholic school for a long time. They showed didn't teach me no Black history in Catholic school. And then even in high school, I was in a Jewish high school, and we didn't really get Black history perspective. So when I when I retired my practice, I had time on my hands. I just delved into Black American history, and I was completely fascinated by it. Completely fascinated by it. And now it's giving me a change of perspective. And there's a level of understanding too about why our country is heading in certain directions and stuff like that. So reading is it's fundamental. This is another book I just picked up to read because I like reading people's life stories, and so this one is Maya Angelou, Mom and Me, and Mom. I don't know why she said it that way because she's a poet, but Mom and Me and Mom. And what I'm learning from this book is she had every reason to have the perspective that her mom was not a good mom because her mom left her and her brother with their grandparents to pretty much raise them. And when they became teenagers, the mother was now stable and she decided to bring them in. Well, her perspective, Maya Angelou's perspective, was like, I was abandoned. This lady abandoned me. Sorry, but she did. That's her perspective. And her mom's perspective was, I have to go do something better for my children. I'm a single mom. And so I have to do this. And then when her children came back to her, she had to deal with all that fallout, y'all. And you may be in your midlife dealing with fallout from some of your decisions, but it's okay. Read a book on the subject. And so therefore she began to understand her mom, which I thought was incredible because it helped her brilliance. It helped her poetry. Just think if she never changed her perspective on how her mother did her and her sibling. Just think about that. Think about if she held onto that perspective her whole life. We wouldn't have got the Maya Angelou that we got. We wouldn't have got the brilliance that we got. I am convinced that she would have been a whole different person. And we would have not been blessed by her brilliance in the way that we were blessed by it because she would have been holding something in her heart that was not even healthy. Not understanding your mom, not respecting your mom, thinking your mom is trash, not understanding her story, or your dad, same thing, it goes for them as well, holding that in your heart, ever not getting to know the truth, right, actually. So you can hold on that perspective, but when you get the knowledge, when you get the information, and maybe you don't even have that chance because your parent is gone. So, however, maybe talk to other relatives to see how they were, but just reading a book on how to handle that type of loss changes your perspective. So that's where we are. We're learning how to change our perspective. So I just wanted to share that with you. And also, I also say, I want to tell you this too. Oh, for all my believers out there that are my fellow believers out there in Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, our brother and our King, your Bible. The chapters in your Bible that will help you change your perspective are Proverbs. I try to read a proverb on a daily basis because it's chock full of wisdom. Can I tell you a little secret about my mom to say about me? She was like, you are book smart, but you have the common sense of nothing. And my stepdad said to me, hey, give me a subject to study and learn, and I'm on it, man. I'm on it. But common sense was my struggle. Common sense ain't so common. So guess what? Me wanting to live my best life at all seasons of my life, I said, how do I grow? How do I have common sense, because it's a stumbling block. I always say, if you're the dumbest person in the room, that's okay, because everybody else is smarter than you. You're going to learn something. It's okay being the dumbest person in the room, as long as you're picking up, you're like a sponge, you're absorbing everything that they have to offer you, which is making you what? Smarter, right? More educated, more knowledgeable, more interesting, right? So, yes, so let me give you the books. Proverbs and Ephesians. Ephesians helps the Christians identify relationships. And we talked about that previously, about the importance of relationships. Like I taught my children, it's not the car that you drive, it's not the house that you live in, it's not the job that you go to that is most important in your life. They're important, they rank, but what ranks the highest? Those people that you have around you, those people that matter to you, those people whose opinions count, because you're together, you're bound together in this household. So so that's your most important decision. So that's what Ephesians will do for you. Also, just learning the Gospels, I like learning how other people navigated their lives. That's why I like biographies and autobiographies, because I really learned, how did they do that? How did they go from zero to nothing to fabulously filthy rich? How did that happen? What did they do? What changed their perspective from a poverty mindset to a wealth mindset? And I'm not equating the love of money is the root of all evil. Let's get that clear. But money is a tool, and if you ain't got it, honey, if you ain't got no money, ain't nothing funny. Trust me and believe. That brings me to another thing that I want to tell you this morning. My nephew and I were at somewhere at drive through getting something to eat, and I'm itching about something with my order, something like that. I can't remember the exact circumstance, but I think I'm close. And so after I fussed about this, whatever this was, my nephew looked at me. He said, "Aunt Stacy, the reason why that was so important to you in the moment is because you don't have any money. You're kind of broke." And I was like, wow. I was responding over something trivial with the perspective of a broke person. Because a more wealthy person probably would have just said, chalk it up, let's go. And I realized that it was the fact that I had little resources, and I was hovering over those little resources and making sure I get my most bang for my buck, which in a sense is okay, but then in a sense it was the perspective, and I'm changing my perspective on a whole lot of things as I age. I want you to too, so that your blessings will come. But listen, so I was reading the Bible. I just want to tell you this cute little story about angels, because we have another, got time to kill a little bit in this, because I don't have a lot more to share. But so listen. So when I just want for the saints out there, I had started reading my Bible, because as a Catholic, we don't have a Bible. We have a catechism, so we don't really have Bibles. There's no King James laying around the Catholic Church, at least it was when I was to go there. And so I started reading the Bible. And when you become a baby Christian, they tell you to start in the New Testament. So I was starting the New Testament, and I had read the book of Matthew. I think they always tell us to start with Matthew. Is that it? Anyway, I read the book of Matthew, and I was really excited. So now I wanted to move on to other chapters. So I was praying about it. I pray about everything. I hope you do too. I was praying about it, and I literally was walking down the street in Columbus, Ohio, passing people, and I had just prayed about earlier in the morning about where do I go from here. I finished Matthew. This man, he was an elderly black man that was, well, I'm short, so everybody's taller than me, but he seemed pretty tall. He had brown, like brown skin, like a small afro, and all he said was Mark, Luke, and John. Yeah, he said Mark, Luke, and John. And that is how I moved to the next chapters of the Bible. Isn't that a cute story? Because I think he was an angel. Because that's all he said. He said Mark, Luke, and John as he was walking past me within my ear gate, said that. And that's how I started studying those chapters. I just thought that was a really cool book. Yes, it was a really cool book. Anyway, so have you entertained an angel before? Hey, put a story, put an angel, the word angel down there if you've ever entertained an angel, and maybe we'll talk about it. Anyway, the other thing about changing your perspective is having meaningful conversations. Um, you know, um, listening, having a conversation to listen, asking someone that's in the position to tell you what you need to say, no, and listen to that person. And I always say this: when someone's giving you a lecture, someone's giving you advice, someone is talking to you about something that's important, in the moment it may be kind of hard to relate to what they're saying. And maybe your inclination is to ask questions. Maybe your inclination is to start thinking in your head about how you can counter what they're saying, or whatever your mind is busy doing. So that's part of it. That's very much part of it. So I say, and I believe this is true, you can let me know if you think it's true. Once that conversation is ended, especially if it's a very important conversation, very meaningful, maybe very volatile, maybe very emotional, when you're in your quiet time, the things that apply to you most will resonate in your spirit. You'll think about it in the most oddest of times, in the most oddest of places. What that person said to you will come back to you. Something that you got on this live today, and I don't think you were here by accident. I think you were sent. Something from this live today will resonate with you in your quiet time. You'll say, you know what? I ain't been to the library in a month of Sundays. I don't even know where my local library is. Let me take my bowhide over to the library today and read some books. And when you go in there, it's a oasis of wonderful teachings. Whatever the subject matter is, whatever, you know what? That may be what you learned. Maybe that's what you'll get out of here today. You'll say, let me go pick up a book and change everything. You may pick up a book on traveling to a foreign country, and next thing you know, you're living in a foreign country. It can get that deep, y'all. I'm telling you, life is so exciting. It's where you make it, and it's exciting. And as soon as you change your perspective, because maybe your perspective is, I was born on American soil, I'm gonna die on American soil. Okay. Or maybe you'll change your perspective and say, you know what? I might go live in another country, and I may live out the rest of my life there, or I may just go make it an adventure and come back and die on American soil. How about that? And bring back something to your family. And it was really funny. There was a lady that said she was wrestling with this. She really had in her spirit to move to another country, but she was very wedded to her children and her family. And she was like, I don't want to leave them and explore this new country. I said, but wait a minute. Maybe you're not leaving them. Maybe you're leading them. See the perspective? Her perspective is, I'm leaving my grandkids. I'm leaving my children. Maybe you're leading them. Maybe that's birthed in your heart because you really are supposed to go. And a season can be a year. A season can be winters, how many months? Or it can be 10 years. It doesn't matter. And when I said that to her, I got so many likes on that comment because she said, hey, maybe that is what I'm doing. Maybe I'm leading my family to a new country. Hey, I don't know. But it's a different perspective. So change your perspective, change your world, change your midlife. And I'm not saying run out and get flip the script on everybody and, disappear, nothing like that. I'm saying just try changing. Examine your perspective. Take a look in the mirror and ask yourself the question, look in the mirror and tell yourself you love yourself, and ask yourself, hey, what do I love about you? What can I change about you? What do you need to make yourself happier? What do you need to make yourself more whole? How's your perspective been serving you all these years? Do you need a change of perspective? Yeah, maybe you do. And then, and when you're listening, one more tip, because this one is what I struggle with, right? Because of insecurities. When you're talking to somebody, you're not talking to show them how smart you are. Can that. If you smart, you smart. And people already know that. So don't be talking in a conversation and say, oh, you said that, but guess how smart I am because I'm going to say this because I'm whatever. Don't do that. Two to hear, one to speak. Okay? Yeah. So Yeah. Keep that in mind. All right, so then, oh, here we go. My grandmother taught me this. Grandma Edna, she was wise. She said, there are no stupid questions. There are no stupid questions. If you don't know the answer, ask the question. So if you don't know the answer on how to change your perspective, ask the question. If you're in therapy right now or some kind of counseling, church counseling, whatever, that's a good question. Ask good questions. Ask questions. How do I change my perspective? I feel a little stuck right now. I feel like I'm in a rut right now. How do I change my perspective on all of this? Yes. And then, oh, here's another way to change your perspective. Traveling. Wherever I go to the library so I can understand the people, understand what's going on. I love the libraries. And if you ever get to DC, most of the libraries are free. Many of them are ran by the Smithsonian. And oh my gosh, I could go to libraries and be there all day. Yes. Okay. Because so this is sort of like it was a 26 minutes. We got about 5 minutes left, but this is what I wanted to leave you with, because I got some things on my desk I want to share with you in midlife tips too. So we'll get to those. But here's what I want to leave you with. Well, first of all, again, you don't have to go far to change your perspective. Did we clear that up? Did we say that? You don't have to go far to change your perspective. Where can you go? To the library. Where can you go? YouTube. you can watch YouTube channels. Change your perspective. But here's what I want to say. This is a Stacy one. Your curiosity, your curiosity will serve you well. Yes. And if you read Ephesians and Proverbs, you'll know how to direct your curiosity. You'll direct your curiosity in a manner that will serve you well. Meaning you won't get yourself in trouble, because what is it? Curiosity killed the cat, but then we add satisfaction brought it back. So don't let your curiosity get you in trouble. I'm not advocating that at all. If it's something you should not be curious about, let it go. Let it go. Pray over it. The Lord, take that out of my mind, okay? Because that ain't righteous. But anyway, yeah, but I'm being a little silly. But anyway, thank you for indulging me. So that's it, okay? I hope you learned something. Now I want to tell you something. It's a midlife tip. Okay. So I always think I'm doing the right thing, because I always try to do the right thing. So I was trying to get away from sugar, right? So I bought, and I'm a budgeter. Oh my gosh, I'm a budgeter. So I got this box of stevia. Someone gave me this box, actually. Excuse me, it says made with stevia extract. 0-calorie sweetener. I thought I was doing something, right? But I had bought this, but I was running low, and so that's how I got this box. Saving money, right? This is what you get at Starbucks. They sell this one because Starbucks is doing this. So it's stevia in the raw. See this? Stevia in the raw. And I'm not getting paid for any of this, so I'm not endorsing this in the sense that I ain't getting paid. But anyway, so it has dextrose and stevia leaf extract. Whereas this has, and dextrose, that ain't a perfect chemical, but it's in a lot of stuff. But here's what I've gotten this, I was using both, but I realized this one is relatively safe. This one, oh no, it's dangerous. It's called erythritol. Am I saying that? Erythritol. ERYTHRITO. That's the main ingredient, because ingredients are listed by the order in which they're most prominent ingredient. So that's the first ingredient in this, y'all. The second one is the stevia extract. They're saying this is deadly. They're asking there's certain organizations that are asking the government, our U.S. government, to ban erythritol. That and aspartame. Aspartame is another one. It's in some of your non-sweetened drinks. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that again, I was my first degree was in social work. I was going to be a social worker, and one of the things that they taught us to tell our people is read the label, set a better table. So yeah, so you gotta know what you're sticking in here. You know what I mean? Because you could be eating something like I thought I was doing. I thought I was improving my, my health by cutting back on a lot of the raw sugars and doing something that's I guess it's a root. I don't know. But anyway, what it is exactly, the stevia. But yeah, I was actually going to make myself sick if I kept drinking this mess. So just keep that in mind. Aspartame is not, aspartame and erythritol, whatever it is, it ain't for you. It ain't for you if you're trying to live a long midlife and go into your elder years. So I'm going to end with that. I thank you so much for joining me. I hope you learned something today and you can take it in your quiet time, your prayer closet, and say, Lord, what is my perspective? Do I have the right perspective? Do I need to change my perspective? In what areas do I need to change my perspective? And help me make the change. You be the change you need. How about that? Again, can I say it one more time? I kind of like this quote. Your curiosity will serve you well. Be curious. Be safe. Thank you. I appreciate you. Come back. Oh, come back next week and bring a friend. 11 o'clock, same time. Bye for now.